This is my dad again, and he got second place at the Alliance Insight pre-release tournament. What were you playing?
Playing branded 60 card pile.
Of course you were.
Max them out, baby. Grass.
Oh boy.
Yep.
We'll go into matchups after the main deck.
Sure.
What were you playing in the main deck today?
So, obviously, got 3 Albaz. 2 Quim. I think Quim, I see builds with 1. I've even seen a few lately with 3. I think it's perfect at 2. I also, just on a side note, I always side 1 out going second. No rhyme or reason. It just seems to work. Just want to throw that in there. 3 Albion. You can't ask for a better card in the deck. I am running 3 Cartesia. I think in 60 cards, it's just a must. I mean, I guess if you were running 1 Dust Dragon, 2 would be fine, but I can't think of any reason why you'd run 2 Dust Dragon, especially with Unicorn in the format. I run 1 Incredible Ecclesia. I think the card is just extremely good. And the amount of times I have had that card and a card, like for instance, a Cartesia, and I can get Albaz on the field to be able to summon her is just insane. And the recursion you get from adding her back is too good not to. 1 Kit. Kit is a great searcher. I know a lot of people have cut it. I can't, if you're going to run Fusion Duplication or, you know, I mean, it's just too good. Like, it is an absolute must. 3 Aliber. 1 Tragedy. 1 Ad Libitum. And being able to summon back fusion monsters or even a banished Despian monster is really, really good. I run 2 McCoyer. Often have considered running 3. Obviously, space matters, but the card's just crazy. You can send it off of Quim, then summon it when you fusion summon, automatically have your negate. Done that many times, then banish it with a Bestial and get the ad. Just great card. I run, with the Bestial package, I run 1 Lebellion, 1 Mag, and 1 Geoswarm. And I've seen a lot of decks lately not running Geoswarm, but I'll get to my spells in a minute, but I am running Droplet. So on opponent's turn, being able to, you know, negate and send is just great. Plus it's a dragon, how can you go wrong? I run 2 Soriner. I don't see any need to run the 3rd. I typically side the second one out, going second. It's just a card I side out. I find it one of's good going second. I do run the tier limit girls, Merle, Havness, and Sheeran, simply because with Branded Fusion at 1, the amount of times that I can use Branded Opening and send Quim, summon Quim, send Albaz, and discard one of the tier limits, and then it's Lebellion, and then you're playing. The card is insane. All 3 of them. I can't see not using those, especially with Cartesia. That's obviously, like, for me, some of my better plays. I run 1 Incredible Ecclesia, 1 Dogmatic United. I don't always use Titaniclad for Quim, and I don't always use Quiritus' effect to summon Quim as well. And to be able to, on end phase, get Ecclesia and Ad Knighted, just impermanent monster on their field is great. And then I run 1 Ido, like, you know, obviously sided out a lot of times going second. The lock's good. It won me 3 games tonight. And they were just no contest games. They pretty much scooped after they drew.
And now here's the spells.
Obviously, 1 Branded Fusion, sadly. German ulti, though. I mean, that's nice. Come on, Konami, bring it back. Yeah, leave it there. We'll go 1 Branded Lost, given, no explanation needed. 3 Branded Opening, no explanation needed. Branded in white, I don't see every deck list, but it is entirely too good, especially if you have like an Albaz and Mercurial in graveyard, and I mean, it gives you Renbrum and then an ad. The card's just really, really good. I can't say enough about that one. High Spirits, a lot of people running it at 3, and I get it, but I like it at 2. I tend to be able to I see it enough. and it can be a little bit bricky. I just think better options, especially with the tier girls. You know, you got to cut something. Branded in red in a 60 card deck, I think it's best at 2. Again, I see a lot of profiles at 1. I've tried it at 1. I don't see it enough. I want to see that card a lot, especially playing Guardian Chimera and ad libitum. That I think those 2 factors make it a 2 of. The Retribution. I have tried Retribution at 2. It's good, but better options. And that's it for the branded spells. All right, for the non-engine spells and traps, 3 Droplet. Droplet is crazy in this format, and there's a lot of synergy with the deck. Is what it is. 3 Thrusts is just, I think that's standard at this point, especially with Tactics at 1. I run 1 Gold Sark, and I am not running Allure of Darkness in this build. With Droll being crazy in the format, I've lost a lot of games because I have had the Droll. Just, you can't do anything after that, and it's just bad.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Droll's in every deck list this format.
Every deck list. My favorite card, Grass. If I resolve that, I win. It's just really, really good. 1 Talents.
Wait, hold on. That was a QCR. It's really pretty.
Ooh, hey. Bring it to 3. I got the other 2 waiting.
Do not bring it to 3.
Talents, rip in a way. Like, I think it should be at 2, but it is what it is. And this almost feels like a branded card at this point. Fusion Deployment, 3, and I don't think there's any debating the numbers on it. And being able to use it with Fusion Duplication, which I'll get to in a minute. Foolish Burial speaks for itself. Tear Girls, Tragedy. Today I did something I hadn't done in a while. I had, it was a grind, and I sent McCourier because I had a Bestial in hand. And it just ended up being a really good play.
That's a really cool play, yeah.
3 Super Polys. I think that currently it breaks a lot of decks. It's probably, like, well, in fact, it's the best board breaker we have. And as far as Super Poly targets in a branded deck, you don't really need your branded fusion monsters are your Super Poly targets with Albaz, and it's just a crazy card. And not being able to respond to it.
Yeah, it's insane.
I run 1 Fusion Duplication. I've never been a real big fan of the card. It's a thrust target. It helps me justify.
I never even thought about that. A thrust target's insane, yeah.
Right. Maining, I didn't main thrust previous format, especially before the ban list. But now that the format's kind of changed, it's a really good card. You can, Fusion Deployment, obviously branded Fusion, and add it back off kit. It's a good card. It's a great one of. 2, seeing it feels bricky to me, but I could see running it at 2. And lastly, I run 1 Imperm simply for a thrust target. I prefer gas over any sort of negations, but it is a normal trap, so it helps going first sometimes. I oddly hard drew that 3 times tonight, so and it was quite effective. So it is what it is. A good thrust target.
Back to Fusion Duplication real quick. Whenever you use it, you don't get locked into fusions if you use.
No, you do not. That's a great point. One other thing I actually did today. I banished Super Poly, and you don't have to discard. So it literally just copies the effect.
And now here's the extra deck and side deck. But before that, would you want to talk about your matchups?
I would. Round 1, I played White Forest, Fiendsmith. Great deck, great player. Just drew the outs and drew really well. I won that one 2-1. I won the dice roll, got game 1. Game 2, I misplayed. I had got to admit this. I misplayed 2 Super Polys. And we won't talk about that. But round 2, I played Labyrinth. And I just cooked it. I don't think Labyrinth, some Labyrinth players like are really good. They're like Sky Striker players. When you get a really good Labyrinth player, they give you a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah.
But then round 3, it was Scareclaw, Kashtira, and unfortunately, I probably drew the best back-to-back hands I've drawn in a while, and it was bad. Let's see, that was 3. Round 4, I played. Let's see, what did I play round 4? I had Chimera Fiendsmith, and my
That was
son.
me.
Yeah, it was. And we always have a battle and a grind, and it could go either way. And unfortunately, I had outs that I don't think he expected, because one thing we don't do before tournaments is, if we do make any changes to our decks with each other, we don't share those things. That gives us that opportunity to maybe surprise somebody. Like, for instance, I'll get to that in my side deck. And then my other matchup was, do you remember what it was? I can't even remember.
White Forest.
Oh, I mentioned that one. Oh, it was Malice, my only loss. By the way, I went 4-1, and it's a funny story with the Malice matchup. I win game 1, Malice wins game 2, and we're in game 3 with not a lot of time, and I side Masquerade in. He's already down, I forget how many, like he's down like 17 maybe. And I not paying attention, I specialed in defense, and I was like, oh, can I change that to attack? Like, before it could even, and he was like, nope, it's already in defense. Or I would have went undefeated. Like, it was that close to undefeated. Just, I'm 50 years old and stupid, and yeah, well, there's that. I don't care anyway, so, but that's what happened. I would have won that matchup, and I'll speak of that matchup, like, on the extra deck. But let's just get to the extra deck. I'm going to do this in a little bit of a different manner. I run 1 Mirror Jade, simply because I feel like 2 Mirror Jade is taking up a spot. I can get utility out of something else. And most of the time, if I needed a second Mirror Jade, I probably lose that duel anyways. I get running 2 Mirror Jade, but I think I can explain why I'm not. And you can recur it off Ad Libitum. If I wasn't running Ad Libitum, I would probably run 2. 1 Lebellion, standard. 2 Albion, standard. Renbrum, standard. 1 Titanclad, standard. And then I do run the Albion. The card should be banned and Branded Fusion at 3, but hey, we'll not talk about that. I do run 2 Dusk Dragon. I think that with Unicorn in the format, I would rather have my Mirror Jade banished, to be honest, than the Dusk Dragon. So when a cashier player sees my extra deck, and they get the Mirror Jade, fine. Like, you can play a lot more with the Dusk Dragons.
Especially remaining Ido and Sanctifier.
Facts. Yes. And I think that having, like, the second Dusk Dragon can help you get into Sanctifier, where it's a light spellcaster. I use it for material. Guardian Chimera, I didn't summon it once tonight, and that's kind of odd. And I've thought about, running something else in its place. But every time I've ever taken that card out, I've needed it. So it's going to stay.
That could be your second Mirror Jade if you prefer to run 2.
That's a great point. And I may end up doing that. But I feel like with running Branded and Red at 2 is why kind of I run, keep it in there. Well, I think the next couple tournaments I'll make that decision. Then I run the the Chaos Dragon. It's really good, especially I was maining Alba because of so many Blue Eyes decks, but I feel like Blue Eyes has fallen out of the format a little bit. This format's just changed a lot. To get the pop or 2 is just really, really good. And then not just super poly targets, but tier limit. You can recur your fusion monsters by shuffling back a fusion monster with a tier limit. Just really good. Garua, obviously. And then Cororitas. So many times I've won games with that. It's so good against Malice. That's what won me game. Game 1 game 1 against Malice. I just blanked them and I had enough on the board, and being able to summon from, like, it's just so good. Cororitas is a great card. And then my last one is SP. And I do run SP because so many times I can get 2 monsters, but I don't have, in a 60 card deck, you can't count on having Branded Opening. You can't count on having Fusion Deployment or even, Branded Fusion. So the SP is just extremely good to have going second, and being able to like link off and have Albaz Engrave or Albert, and then Branded in Red in hand, and now you can play and have an interruption. So I will side that out in a lot of matchups, but for the most part, it comes up once a duel. So, really good card. And then we'll just skip over to the side deck. 3 Droll. Nothing needs said about it. It's a great card.
Arguably the best hand trap of the format.
Right. I've gotten scoops off of it. Effect Veiler, it won me. I had not been previously siding that a lot. I didn't like the card, especially with Shifter, and that's another point I wanted to make. Shifter and Abyss Dweller out of the format for the most part. Shifter at 1, you're not going to see it a lot.
Nobody's running Shifter anymore.
No, and Branded is eating good in this format, and that's what prompted me to put Veilers back in. It won me a game against. It won me, I believe, game 2 against ended the duel against Labyrinth because they summoned what's her name to add, and I Veilered it, and then he could play set 2 fast. So, great card. I side 1 Lancia. And I know the common idea is to play, like Sanctum and 3 Lancias, but you can also summon it off of like Sanctifier Dragon, sorry. And,
yeah, you can send it off Branded Fusion, send it off Sanctifier.
Right. And
it's on the field or hand. You contribute it.
Absolutely. And having said that, I feel like it frees up extra deck space to run one. Great card, like just all in all. If you draw it, even better. And then 1 Harpies, 2 Lightning Storm, I think is going to be standard in this format. Great thrust targets. Going second, if you're playing a back row deck that's a problem, like they blow out for you. And then I run 1 Regained. I don't add any extra Libellions because if I'm playing against Malice, I'm going to search that or whatever. It's more important than Lost in that matchup at that point because you can just auto-win for the most part against Malice.
Oh, yeah. It just depends on what you hit and what else
for
you
sure.
have.
I still run, and then I side 4 extra deck monsters. Alba's too good. I mean, if you do run into a Blue Eyes player, Fusion Deployment, win the game, like, it's brutal against Blue Eyes.
Probably Blue Eyes is like the only kind of good build. It's really fragile. Has crazy inboards, but it's just like ridiculously easy to counter.
For sure.
Especially if you have even like 1 hand trap can just destroy the deck.
For sure. And that just blows it out. Masquerade for time, especially, Malice. They have a really hard time against that card. Proskinian, I think, is super good in this format, especially going second. I've recently have taken a lot of Chaos Angels from Grave. It's just, I don't know. Proskinian is a good card. And then today I played the new Philia Regis from the Alliance Insight. It's sort of like Mirror Jade in a way. You get the banish effect, but you have to return a dragon to hand, which you get the banish, you can return it if you want, I guess. It's an interesting card. I sided in twice. I could have summoned it both times. I didn't need it, but I'm interested in playing around with that card to see what I could do.
I think if you end up running more Libellions, I think you should run it in the extra deck in your main deck.
Oh, for sure, because if you get the set and leave Libellion on the field, use it, and then add the Libellion back to hand so you can search a Bestial next hand.
Yeah, this card's huge since you can only control 1 Mirror Jade and it's once per turn anyway. You could run this card with Mirror Jade. For sure. And have them both on board if you run 3 Libellion.
And that's kind of crazy.
It's insane.
Right. And, but we'll see going forward. You got the banish stuff, the banish effect, we're going to have to be careful for because I think Malice is going to be the best deck in the format. Yeah. So, giving them, I could even see siding in a second Renbrum against...
this card is really good against Mitsurugi, by the way. Oh my gosh, it just kills him like the same way Mirror Jade does. But anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching, and Branded best deck.